Good morning and welcome to day 68 of Geriatric 1944's Coronavirus Diaries. I do hope you're enjoying these daily diaries and not so bored to tears that I make you even more bored. Watching the TV this morning, I see the experts are saying this is really dangerous because the fine weather is going to make people forget social distancing and go out, and there will almost certainly be a second peak within days. Again, I've disagreed with what the experts say almost every time they say anything. And back in the day, way back in February and March, all my friends said to me, "Why do you think you know better than the experts?" And I said, well, I don't know better than the experts, but they don't seem to have common sense. And I've got some common sense. Well, my common sense tells me this virus doesn't really like warm weather. And I suspect the warm weather we've had, which has been gorgeous this May, by the way, has been one of the major factors for killing off the virus, which, as you know, anyway, is a trivial virus apart from 5%, the very vulnerable, which sadly I'm in that category, the elderly, the diabetics, those who smoke, the obese. These are the vulnerable. It does sound now as though your skin colour has a bit of an influence on this too. If you're black or Asian, you're a bit vulnerable. If I was anywhere in any of those categories, and I am in two of them, I'd be very careful about social distancing and wary of catching anything, especially when the weather cools down again in September, October. I'm hoping by then they'll have a vaccine like they found one for flu. To me, this is very much like flu. It's been boosted by the media into something much worse, but I think basically it's just another form of flu, another nasty infection for a few people that most people will just get over from. Anyway, back to music, because I know music is one of the things you most care about. I'm glad to announce that now up on all sites like Spotify and Apple Music and everywhere else, iTunes, you can buy it, you can stream it, you can download it, is an album I made years ago, which I thought was great fun. It was a challenge to me. I had to write a song which had to have in the title a name of a person, either a fictional name or an existing name, and it had to work to the same backing track, but I could change the backing track around, i.e. I could lift the level of the drums or lower the level of the bass or increase the level of the bass or whatever. Very simple backing track. I could slow it down, I could speed it up, I could do whatever I wanted with, all done in my little home studio upstairs. And basically I wanted to try to put together a dozen or so songs, all of which had the same backing track and those rules to them, and yet all of which sounded different. Well, I'm glad to say the album is out, and you can get it. We only put out a limited edition way back in the 70s, or might even have been the 80s. I think we put out 2,000, and we only put them out through one particular retailer, Our Price. So we gave them exclusively the 2,000 copies, which I think they sold for 20 quid each or something, and they all sold out within days. So it was quite fun, a very limited edition thing. Our Price were delighted to have an exclusive on it, because I was quite a big star at the time. I'm not anymore. Anyway, have a listen to this track, which was the first one I did to it, to the backing track. And it was when my favourite writer in the world, one of my favourite writers, up there with Charles Dickens and William Shakespeare, is Graham Greene. And Graham Greene died. And I wrote a song for Graham Greene, mentioning the titles of all his novels and saying Graham Greene is dead. And this is just one of the songs on anti-cloning, written about a name, a person, all of which use the same track but sound different, have different melodies and completely different lyrics. So listen and see what you think, and if you enjoy it, you might try to obtain the album, the collection of songs, anti-cloning from one of the sites you can get it from. I leave you today with the sound of Greene is Dead from Anti-Cloning by me, Jonathan King. See you tomorrow.
He described the third man and the human factor. He gave Dickie A his start as an actor. He was cherished by many as our greatest living writer to the people of Nice. He was a hell of a fighter. Now we'll have to read John le Carré instead. Oh, Greene is dead. He was unhappy with the Pope and he was riddled with sin. But his pen had power and glory like the man within. From the start of Stamford Train to the end of the affair, he was a painter and a poet. There was magic in the air. In a million different languages he wrote and we read. Oh, Greene is dead. People say The Fallen Idol was the best film ever made, and a man in Havana will never settle in the shade. There's 1,000 potent memories with the theme of Harry Lime, and Pinky and the Consul will stay with us for all time. Today every lover has a tear that must be shed. Oh, Greene is dead. There are no ways to escape his sort of a life. He never needed a bomb party for his words cut like a knife. He would slice through fakes and phonies to the heart of the matter, and then travel with his aunt who was as bad as a hatter. He could show comedians, describe the ministry of fear, analyze quiet Americans, all life is borrowed here. He knew generals and traitors, pitied filthy sad disgrace. He was never a loser or a burnt out case. I can't take anymore, it's doing in my head. Oh, Greene is dead. When we talk of William Shakespeare and we pause to reflect, there are Dickens and Lord Byron and few others to respect. But the schoolboy from Berkhampton will be up there with the gods, helping poor Quixote battle devils against the odds. It's the end of an era.